based on the second turning of the wheel of Dharma and the third turning of the wheel of Dharma, the Mahayana developed. The Mahayana or the Bodhisattva Yana, to interpret and to elucidate the meaning of the teachings Buddha gave in the second and the third turnings of the wheel of Dharma. So that's how the Mahayana began, the Mahayana teachings. So many great masters, beginning with Arya Bodhisattva Maitreya and Arya Nagarjuna, wrote so many commentaries in order to elucidate and interpret the meaning of the teachings Buddha gave in the second and the third turning of the wheel of Dharma. So basically, it is believed, many scholars agree that the second turning of the wheel of Dharma concerns the definitive meanings. So there are two categories of teachings Buddha gave: the teachings on the expedient or the provisional meaning, and the teachings on the definitive or the ultimate meaning. Basically, the second turning of the wheel of Dharma on Prajnaparamita, emptiness, is considered the teachings on the definitive or the ultimate meaning. And the third turning of the wheel of Dharma is the mixture of the relative, both relative and the absolute or the expedient and the definitive meaning. But different lineages, they have different viewpoint or the approach to this, because there are some lineages, the schools, who believe that the third turning of the wheel of Dharma is the most ultimate teachings Buddha gave. Among many commentaries and many masters who wrote the commentaries to interpret the teachings of the Buddha, the Mahayana teachings here is Shantideva. So he lived in the 8th century. And he was born in the modern day Gujarat, Saurashtra. It's in Gujarat. He was born into a princely family, so there were feudal lords in those days. He was born in a princely family, and from a young age, he was inclined towards Dharma, and he did not have any interest at all in the worldly affairs. So because of his karmic connection, he met with the tantric, hidden tantric practitioner, and from him he received the teachings on how to pray and practice Manjushri, pray to and practice Manjushri, and he practiced, and he really developed a close connection with Manjushri, Bodhisattva of wisdom. And Manjushri became his guiding force for whatever he did, his practice, and also the Shastras he wrote. Shantideva wrote through the guidance and the blessings of Manjushri. In other words, Shantideva perfected the practice of Manjushri. So when he was about to crown as the next successor to that princely lineage, the throne, then the night of the day before his enthronement, they had put up a throne to enthrone him. So in a dream, Manjushri spoke to him. Manjushri appeared to him in a dream, and he spoke to him, "Son, you are my student, you are my disciple, and this throne belongs to me. Would you have any would you dare to sit on this throne which belongs to your teacher? And that completely turned his mind, and he gave up and he left the palace and traveled to Nalanda, the most famous university, the Buddhist university. There he received ordination from the chief abbot of Nalanda University called Jayadeva. And initially, when he was born, he was named Shantivarman Devi Kocha. And when he received the ordination, the Vinaya ordination from Jayadeva, then Jayadeva named him Shantideva. That's how he became known as Shantideva. Although he was quite accomplished in the practice and in studying, outwardly he acted as if he was doing nothing. He was just lazy, not studying. All he did was just eat, sleep, and go to the toilet and walk here and there, Drochapniel. And he earned the name Busuku, which means these three things, eating, sleeping, and cheating. So the students and the Panditas of Nalanda University, they did not like Shantideva not doing anything, and they thought that Shantideva was a disgrace to Nalanda University, so they wanted to kick him out of Nalanda University. So since Shantideva had done nothing wrong, he did not breach any discipline. He did not go against any part of the Vinaya discipline. So it was not easy for them to kick him out just like that. So they came up with a plan to make him give a discourse on a particular topic. And they thought that since Shantideva did not know anything, he did not study, then he would be so embarrassed to do that, then he would leave the monastery, the university by himself out of embarrassment. So they invited the kings and ministers and merchants and all the influential people into the central hall of Nalanda University. And interestingly, they put up a high throne without a ladder, without a staircase, without a ladder to climb onto the throne. And miraculously, even though there was no ladder, he was sitting on the throne miraculously, suddenly, and that really amazed the Panditas and the students, the monks at Nalanda University. And he asked the audience whether he should recite something that has been recited by other scholars and masters, or composed by other masters like Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, and so on, or something new, and they asked him to recite the new, and the text he recited for the discourse is the Bodhisattvacharya Avatara. And it is said in the biography that he recited, and some of the Panditas could see Manjushri sitting above through the whole duration of his discourse, the teachings. Some of the Panditas who had pure perception saw Manjushri sitting above Shantideva. And in the 9th chapter, somewhere where he talks about the culmination of the ultimate view, the exhaustion of the conceptual fixation and clinging when one understands the emptiness of both subject and the object, and one transcends duality. Then he ascended from the throne, and slowly, towards the end of the 9th chapter, he disappeared into the sky, and people could only hear sound, and the last chapter was just the sound. They could not see Shantideva, the dedication chapter. And although he disappeared from Nalanda, then it is believed that he descended. In the biography, it is mentioned that he descended somewhere in South India, and he led there as a life of a mendicant, a wanderer, sadhu kind of a practitioner. And there he subdued the non-Buddhist heretical king and saved the Buddha Dharma from getting destroyed.